What's up, everybody? It's Chad from Ask Chad Grassy Logic. I'm here today with my friend here, Dom from Bryans Green Care. Today, we're going to be talking about a few things, but first, we're going to be talking about Bryans Green Care. They're a new shop here in Cruces. However, they're not a new shop to the industry. We'll get to more to that in a second. And Dom, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's great to see you guys here in town. I've actually interviewed the owners last year on the CannaCast, so it's really good to see some of the staff and everything coming down. It's been about a year, so it's good to hear on the THC side how you guys have been doing. So yeah, with that being said, tell me a little about yourself and a little bit about Bryans Green Care and everything.
Yeah, well, my name is Dominic. I've been a manager at Bryans Green Care for over 5 years. The company started as a CBD apothecary about 2015, and kind of on the eye to the future.
Yeah.
On this May 1st transition, but definitely the background in CBD got us really ready for this April 1st green transition that happened last year.
Yeah.
It's been a wild year. We're very, very excited. Our locations in Hobbs, Roswell, and Ruidoso have been going off since April 1st. Roswell had a little bit of a hiccup with the zoning things going on there, but
yeah,
I was at the Ruidoso opening on April 1st, and it was, I think it was something to remember, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see where it's come and to see where it goes.
Yeah.
And we'll be here for it.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah, I hope you guys are here for a long run. I really dig the shop. That, of course, like I said, I met the owners last year. I've known them and been in contact for a while. Really good people. So it's good that you guys came to Cruces. I'm really glad. It's kind of just showed up one day, and I was like, "Hey, Bryans Green Care, that'd be great to have to come by whenever they do the grand opening," because I'm sure you guys have been busy and all that. So how has it been on this side of the cannabis industry? Because we have hemp, CBD, and now we have the THC side. How has it been? What's the differences for you?
To be honest, not as much of a difference as you would think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, CBD and CBG, CBN, those are cannabinoids as well.
Yeah.
They attach to the same endocannabinoid system. We've been preaching about locating milligram floors individually, educating about different administrations, and then that easily transitioned over to THC.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a very beneficial thing for us. I felt like, we were prepared as a company to transition very smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
So as a difference, it really isn't that much that in that respect. The inventory and the customer base is what is the difference.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You go from people, just trying to get benefit holistically to the recreational customer. And that's an expansion that has benefited us, kept us real busy, and forced my move from my CBD store that we were running in El Paso by the university, and I moved it up to Las Cruces. And it's been a wild ride as far as that goes, but we're here.
Yeah.
And we're extremely happy for Bryans Green Care to be in Las Cruces. Being able to emphasize and not abandon that CBD side,
mm-hmm.
where we're able to provide that product and that benefit to our customer base, while at the same time providing customers with premium THC products, high percentages, and the diversity as well. We like to maintain, it's not all about percentages. The terpene profiles really manipulate those things as well. So we like to educate that side of things and kind of tear away from that sativa indica conversation and more towards, hey, this strain offers these particular benefits for these terpenes, and the sativa indica can kind of be manipulated that way. And that's also with the CBD conversation that we've been having for the last, 5 years personally, being prepared to have those conversations with those customers that require that, conversation. You'll have your customers interested in percentages, sure. But, whenever you'll have those people wanting benefit for particular reasons, we definitely need to be on our toes and know what we're talking about.
No, definitely, 100%. And that's one thing that the industry nationwide is lacking is, the knowledge on the terpenes and, like the benefits of terpene profiles and the different ones that could you mix together. Some may benefit me and some might not benefit you and vice versa. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's great that you guys are really focusing on that.
Yeah, and it's just really exciting because this is all not new information, but it's just developed information that just comes out, and we're going with it, and it's just really exciting to see how much it's grown. The industry has grown the last 5 years, and it's a joke to even laugh about what it's been like whenever I started 20 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So you've been with the company or whatever for about 5 years?
Yes.
Okay.
5 years.
Wow. Yeah, it's quite a bit now, And guys, like I said, last year we started adult sales. He's obviously been with them since they're on the CBD side, and that's quite a bit, to be with them. Was it always CBD, or did you guys have anything before, or kind of just transition a few times?
We definitely had CBD as an emphasis, but we were a hemp apothecary.
Okay.
So there was a lot of herbalism that we incorporated in a lot of our products, to really, not specifically terpene wise, but you're definitely influencing the product whenever you're incorporating natural herbs and roots and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So we would definitely incorporate some like herbal tinctures and salves and stuff like that into our products. And those offered a lot of benefit to our customers and really kind of gave an extra kick with that CBD emphasis background. But we did offer a lot of, herbalistic and those types of products.
Yeah.
From the beginning, and we're not abandoning that.
Yeah.
A lot of our gummies do have some natural herbs and roots.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, we have a night gummy that has, valerian root, lemon balm, hops, poppy.
Oh, okay.
Just those natural herbs and roots that help stimulate that, relaxation process with, a 10 milligram kick of THC, 10 milligram kick of CBD, and then you're going to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of that leg work is the herbalism.
Yeah.
That we incorporate. So that's been, the ownership group, Roberta, Vicky, and Logan, and all the people at production. I mean, it's a rock star group down there.
Yeah.
And we're very proud of them. So, they're kicking up some premium product, and, me as a manager and, our staff that, that we have across the board, we got to keep up with them.
Yeah.
And just, provide premium service with the premium product that we're providing.
Yeah. Yeah. And, just speaking of the premium product, I was there for the grand opening and I got to see the shop. Looked really amazing. It's coming together, of course, more and more, but, looks really good. And I noticed the price points you guys have are really good. Some places in town, you won't see that. There's a couple of places that you will, like $180 ounces, I think is what it was, all the way, to $14 grams. So that's really good. If you guys don't know, $180 ounces, that's actually pretty cheap. You're not going to find that many other places. You'll pay about $300 to $400 for an ounce, with these days prices. And with tax, tax on top of that, you're going to end up paying more. So, what are some of the cultivars that you guys do have that are on, the $14 price point, the super terpiness, what are those ones you guys have?
Yeah. So I'm telling you, we like to provide a wide range of products. We do have our top shelf items, but we also like to provide the products without slacking on the quality.
Okay.
At very, very reasonable price points. We have half-gram pre-rolls for $4. I can get you an ounce for $8. Gram for $8.
Yeah.
And then our ounces are price broken. We got them for 170 and 180.
It's cheap.
So, and everything in between, at the various percentages, terpene profiles. We have our farm that we have a micro grow, but it doesn't supply what we need. So we have other farmers that we establish relationships, and there are some really, really good farmers. We got a good crew there that provides some really, really fire and gassy stuff. But, it's not enough to fill our shelves. So we do establish these relationships with a lot of other micro grows, macro grows. And if, we like it, we get it.
Yeah. No, that's great.
And like I said, you won't find like a $40 or $50 ounce, because that type of quality it's not what we're wanting to get involved in.
Yeah. It's there, but you don't want to sell it. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we do have everything in between. Our percentages are peaking at 34%. Our terpene profiles, are just all over the place,
Hmm.
and it's everything. We got prepackaged flour, pre-rolls, extracts, cartridges, and
So
we
you guys got the bloom.
yeah, we got the blooms. And I don't want to not talk about the chefs and the crew that make our baked goods.
Oh man, those baked goods were amazing. I got to try some on the grand
I've
opening.
never told them this in person, but if they ever hear this, they are gods. They make the best stuff, and I don't know how they do it.
I'm gonna have to clip this then.
I do, and I don't want to undersell it. This stuff is really good.
Yeah.
And we'll throw in some milligram counts. We got 100 milligram packages, baked goods, 25 milligram individual baked goods, cookies, brownies, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's everything.
Nice.
It's
Yeah.
everything from top to bottom, and that's what we're here for, is just providing that variety.
Yeah. No, it's great to hear because some places just pre-rolls and grams all day, and very limited selection of edibles or very limited selection of extracts or rosin or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to hear that you guys are really specializing in just providing everything you could. And those edibles, your chefs, yeah, they are very good.
That was part of the THC expansion. Our CBD gummies, that was able to allow us to just incorporate the THC right into the recipe, so that was no problem. They started pumping out these things, and this was new within the last year, and every time they're coming, they hardly last, and they do a really good job down there.
Oh, they do. And what I tried was amazing. I mean, it was two different spectrums of flavor. You had like the very sweetness to the other one that was a little tart. And I just really loved it. Like it was very light with the flavor. Sometimes you can taste the cannabis, and like it's not always the best tasting when it's in an edible, like for some reason. But you couldn't really taste it.
Yeah,
and I really appreciate it.
It's something, and and the thing is, it's like on the fly.
Yeah.
Like, well, what do you want to make today?
Yeah, that's dope. That's good to hear. Just allow the creativeness to flow.
Exactly.
That's kind of what I tasted. You just taste the the creativeness of it.
The love.
Yeah, have that pecan on there, salted, a little bit of caramel. Oh man. Anyway, I could talk all day about that. It was good. I really wanted to touch real quick about what we were talking with Roswell, because there's certain people that are probably listening that aren't too keen in the industry to know what we're talking about. Because I know what you're talking about. If you guys don't know, and I'll explain a little right now, and he could explain way more because I wasn't there. Roswell didn't happen to set anything for the city when it came time for April 1st. So they didn't have adult sales in the city, and you could only do medical. So that would last, I don't know how many months. How many months did that last?
It wasn't. I don't know, and I don't want to speak out of school. It wasn't too long.
Yeah.
I think they were only delayed maybe a couple of months.
I thought it was like 2. Yeah.
But yeah, Roswell didn't have an April 1st.
Yeah.
Which was unique.
Yeah, it is unique, actually.
Unique to them. We got there, but yeah, there was some zoning issues that some municipalities, once the bill passed, everybody had to do it.
Yeah.
But not everybody wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And so there were some municipalities in our region where we're based out of, had a lot of fight. They did what they could to kind of regulate things and weed out as many people as they could. And unfortunately, that they probably succeeded in some of that.
Yeah.
But we rolled with the punches, eventually got Roswell open. And it's a unique thing how every municipality is a different fight. How Roswell just straight up didn't have an April 1st, you just got to roll with it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Not much you can do.
It is what it is. So we just rolled with it. Hobbs, they wanted to. They had some water main things that they incorporated. So we did try to weed people out that way.
Yeah.
Ruidoso, we didn't really have much of a hard transition with the municipality there. We got grandfathered in downtown. We love our location in Ruidoso, down right there on Sutter.
Oh, beautiful.
Everybody's walking right by, so we got lucky there.
Yeah.
And Las Cruces, it wasn't difficult in the sense that the municipality was making it hard on the fly. They just had their boxes to check,
Mhm.
and took some time.
Yeah.
What I do commend the city on is their approach on communicating with the cannabis industry, particularly the business owners,
Mhm.
on specifically what they needed to do
Oh,
to
cool.
get open.
Yeah.
So I commend those guys downtown there at the planning and zoning and city development. Really did work with us. It took us 4 months. I moved my store from El Paso in December. We were selling CBD.
Yeah.
But we wanted to get there, and it took, with the special users permit with the residential buffer, it took some time, and then we had to get rezoned. But like I said, once they found out those issues, they told us what we needed to do. We did it, and we got open. So we've been selling THC here in Las Cruces for about 2-3 weeks.
Okay. So yeah, you guys are real fresh. I thought it was like a month already, but I guess this month it's been going
It
a little
might be
slow.
flying by me.
Yeah.
It could be closer to a month. Yeah.
Because I guess seeing it being resurrected with the signs and everything driving by, it just feels longer because being open versus being there are two different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess it feels like it's been there a little longer than what's going on.
Yeah, and definitely the lines get blurred
Yeah.
because I've been there since December, really trying to just get everything done, and all of a sudden we can just sell it. And I guess I should have known that date. It would have been pretty memorable for us.
That's all right, man. We get busy. And sometimes, with those
Yes,
dates right
very
there
much
just kind
so.
of fly. And you're like, oh, damn, what day was that? That would be a good day to celebrate.
Yeah,
And
very
we
much
don't really
so.
think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are the plans for Bryans Green Care? Are you guys going to expand more, or is kind of Cruces, the last stop, or
No, I wouldn't imagine. I'm sure if we would love to expand.
Yeah.
But definitely getting our foot here established is something that we're prioritizing. I'd have to get re-involved with the city and seeing what we can do with our site. The building we're located in at 1024 South Main, right south of downtown, is a unique building. It's standalone. It was built in the 1930s. It used to be the old Birkenstock store.
Oh, okay.
I got a nice patio out there. We can kind of look into some things. But if I was to do some consumption out there, we'd have to wait for the outdoor laws. If we were to do indoor expansion, I'd have to get rezoned and get through that process. That's always something that we're probably going to absolutely extinguish. If we can't do it, we can't do it, but we're going to look into it.
Yeah.
But also just looking forward to the growth of the industry. This is brand new. I know it's a year, but it's brand new in New Mexico. And we're really looking forward to growing and expanding and just seeing all the new stuff that comes out with the technology and the advancements, and just rolling with it. And we're going to be here.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to hear that. And yeah, you guys have been here for a while. And I was really glad to have you on the show today too, because I've been wanting to have you guys on. But it's really great that it's so short after your grand opening that you had this past weekend.
Yeah.
So that's very fortunate. We're able to say congratulations and everything, and
Thank
welcome
you.
to Las Cruces.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to see what comes from it. I hope maybe you guys can get the consumption lounge thing going, because as I said before, guys, the only way we're going to get that changed is if we all work together and go to the city and let them know, hey, this and this and this. And one of their concerns is consent. They want to ensure that people have the choice to be around smoke or not. And I guess I get that, but normally these places are found away from areas where people are just like walking around, hanging out. It's not in a downtown area, which even downtown, I can go to Rad and there's a fence to my hip and someone's smoking a cigarette. So, I mean, we really got to be a little cautious about when we're talking about consent, because when it comes to cannabis, I get it. People can get high from it, but at the same time, secondhand smoke is secondhand smoke, regardless of what the product is. And so when it comes to that, I kind of feel that we shouldn't discriminate against cannabis just for the fact that it's cannabis, and we don't really understand. A lot of people don't understand it still, or they have a misconception about what cannabis is and its history and everything. And that's why the show exists in the first place, is because of misconceptions like that. And I feel if we do work with the city, we can finally convince them that, outdoor consumption should be allowed. And not every cannabis consumption is smoking. There's drinks, there's edibles, those amazing edibles. There's dabbing, there's the dab pens. It's no different than vaping when people are walking around the town. So, we just have to really sit back, take a look at what we're really talking about, because some of the stuff that we're trying to regulate just doesn't make any sense. So anyway, that's my whole spiel with this. Before we move on to the main topics of the show and everything, and then again, welcome to Cruces. What's your guys' location and your hours? I know you said it again, but I really want to emphasize on the location because some people don't listen.
Yeah, we're located at 1024 South Main, just south of downtown Las Cruces, between El Paseo and Avenida de Mesilla.
Okay.
Our hours are 10 to 7, Monday through Saturday, and then 12 to 4 on Sundays. And that's probably on Sunday going to expand soon.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty busy here.
Yeah.
Do you guys have last thing, do you guys have anything planned for 420?
Yeah. Well, every store is going to be busy.
True.
We're going to have all our 420 markets, all our 420 conventions across the state. Hobbs, they have theirs, Roswell and Ruidoso. We here in Las Cruces are going to be attending for sure the 420 Southwest 420 convention.
Okay.
They're at the convention center on 421.
Nice.
And then we're looking to get into what was the one?
Laughing Grass?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
potentially
a good one.
Looking to get into that one. I have some information that just came in this morning that I need to forward to the bosses. That way we can get that ball rolling.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
We have our first market tomorrow night. The First Friday Fine Arts Flea Market.
Okay.
Starts at 5 tomorrow night to 10.
Okay.
And we'll be out there. We'll be pushing CBD and signing everybody up for our point system, giving out some coupons and sending people to the shop.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, the shop's just right down the street anyway.
Yeah. We'll be giving out maybe some samples or something if people sign up.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah. If you guys don't know, they're pretty much 1 to 2 minutes from downtown, from the very beginning of downtown, if you're coming from south going north. So yeah, if you guys are in downtown tomorrow, you happen to be there, go check them out. They'll be there, slanging the CBD, but if you go down the street, you can, pick up some THC products. So thank you again for being here, and we'll continue on with the show. But I just, love the fact that you guys have so much rich history within the industry here, and I really wanted to touch base on that. So thank you again for joining.
Thank you guys. No, we appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, guys, we're going to talk real quick about New Mexico sales, and I'm not just meaning like a month. They came out with like the whole year from April to April 22 to April 2023. So the total sales for rec on the rec side were $300 million, and that's before tax. So that's not just the tax value, that's everything together. So the state actually got $27 million in taxes, which is not bad. I mean, it's our first year. Everybody was still getting set up. This is a new industry, so you guys have to remember that. And normally with every state, those sales usually just go up and up and up. So we're kind of geared to go up and up, and we're kind of looking like we're going to do that. I don't think Texas is going to legalize cannabis anytime soon, but you never know. So medical cannabis isn't taxed in New Mexico, and you guys have to keep that in mind because those figures aren't really thrown in a lot of times. The combined total is $488 million in sales, so it was almost $500 million in sales for the whole state, and that's combined. And that's actually pretty significant. That's a lot of cannabis that was sold to the state, and that's a lot of money. And a lot of people were able to use cannabis legally in the state, not worry about, getting in trouble for it. That's great to see. Our biggest consumer is Texans, and I'm sure you probably see a lot of Texans. I mean, how many a day do you think you see?
It depends on what store we're in. So Hobbs, yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit. You'd be surprised. We get a strong amount in Ruidoso as well.
Okay, that makes
maybe
sense.
Not so surprised.
West Texas Hamptons.
Yeah,
is what that
exactly.
Is. Yeah,
and even here, probably personally, maybe about 30%.
Yeah,
are from Texas.
And the closer you get to the border, the higher that number gets.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sunland Park, we call it Little Dubai in the area. Yeah, so I mean, so that really affects your guys' sales and helps you out there. But at the same time, they are getting some kind of relief, and they're able to use cannabis. It just sucks that they got to go back to Texas.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, or whenever, if they're going to stay, because some people do stay, a couple days or whatever, they're vacationing.
Yeah.
So, but how have you really seen the sales when we were just medical to now, kind of like,
Oh yeah, no, it's night and day.
yeah,
Just the amount of people, yeah, coming in and out, it's amazing. Just trying to keep up with it. Hobbs's are obviously our busiest store right now.
yeah,
Just because that's our flagship. That was where we started. We've had that footprint there, and that trend kind of is uh, the same with like Ultra and Pecos and places like Ruidoso.
yeah,
They've been there,
yeah,
and so that really helps those situations out where why change? It's a familiar thing. For us, you know, keeping up and just staying ahead of it. It's fun, juggling everything from the banks to, you know, it's just been a wild ride, you know. Since April 1st, that transition, you were only doing that percentage of medical patients.
yeah. Very small percentage of the state.
And I feel that once it went rec and people saw the benefit of getting a medical card, that percentage of medical patients ticked up a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely been obvious for sure. You know, that April 1st day, I remember they had to tag me out. I didn't even know I was on the register for like 3 hours.
Really? You were just like, wait, what?
Just going and going and going and
Yeah.
going and going.
And that line just did not get smaller.
And, just going into Hobbs and working there and, seeing, everybody come in. That's a lot of Texans too.
Yeah.
That, you'll see it, and then they're paying that 20%.
Yeah.
And they're not coming back anytime soon. So they're buying in bulk.
Yeah.
So, that revenue is good, seeing that number like that, it's good to see New Mexico get some, alternative revenue come in.
Yeah.
We needed it.
Yeah. And it provides more of an industry for everybody. Not everybody wants to work in the oil fields or for the oil industry.
Or just to be dependent on a fluctuating thing that's
Mhm.
inevitably gonna, you do have your highs, but being from Hobbs,
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
there's lows.
Yeah. And they get very low.
And it's unfortunate, when there's a low, the whole state is affected.
Mhm.
Now we can kind of curb that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, and it helps out. Got a little bit of a cushion. I mean, agriculture, and oil are like our biggest ones in the state, but cannabis gives us that little bit more of a cushion in case something,
Yeah.
And right now, like I said, it's a smaller industry, but the industry is growing. I mean, I think we have over 600 and something cannabis businesses in the state right now, and it keeps growing and growing. Hopefully, they'll allow that to happen, and they don't try to pull back on the licenses because naturally the industry will balance itself out. There will be people who get, who will lose their business or, they'll sell their business or whatever. That's capitalism. And that's the belly of the beast, really. So we're going to go through that. And I kind of feel that bubble is about to burst probably here in probably about 7 months. We'll start seeing the great closure, as I like to call it, where a lot of shops that just couldn't make it are starting to close. And, we're starting to see our industry kind of balance out. So I don't really feel that there's a reason for us to limit licensing when it comes to that aspect, because we did that with alcohol and it didn't really do us any good. It created this weird monopoly where these alcohol licenses, these liquor licenses, were up to anywhere from $1 million to $200,000 just for the license itself, because they weren't issuing anymore. And to see that happen in the cannabis industry in New Mexico would be very unfortunate, and I wouldn't want to see that happen. And when we do talk about licensing again, I kind of feel that we need to be very vigilant and smart when we're going to go to change this, because we could end up screwing ourselves in the long run. And it took a long time for us just to even get microbrews in the state, So that's my pitch for that. One thing I did forget about Bryans Green Care is the website. If you want to go through the website real fast?
Yeah, we can go and skim through it.
Okay.
If we want to make any type of online order, obviously all of our CBD products and our hemp-based products are going to be able to be shipped across the country. That also includes our 5 milligram THC gummies and our 10 milligram THC gummies.
Okay.
Based on that 0.3% threshold.
Oh, the whole container.
Yeah.
Got
so the weight of the gummy is 6 grams and 10 milligrams of THC to the 6 grams is way less than 0.3%.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're able to ship those particular products across the country.
Okay.
And if you take enough of those will get you high.
Good to know.
So if anybody's interested in that, those are our everyday gummies and our night gummies.
And those are nationwide.
Nationwide.
Okay.
Those are hemp-based products. Those are might as well just be like our CBD salve.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Or hemp flower.
Yeah. And then of course you guys got the THC side of everything.
And we do have our THC side, so we can offer delivery and pickup service through iHeartJane. You can place orders there. We do those services based on our location. So you can go to the Hobbs store, order from the Hobbs menu. Las Cruces store, go to the Las Cruces menu.
Yeah.
And then we will have our price points for the Las Cruces store up to date. I do not have all of my THC products on there.
Okay. Do you want to hit the Hobbs one, or which one do you want to look at?
Yeah, we can check out the Hobbs.
All right. The reason why, the Cruces tab is still getting updated and everything, so it'd make more sense to be on this one.
So this is kind of how you go down. On the left, you'll have your scales where you can go through and filter out some potencies, your strains, your types. You can go all the way down to specific categories. And even the most popular ones as well.
We're looking this direction because there's a screen on the wall.
Yeah, sorry.
No. Just people are probably like, what are they looking at?
But the thing is with us, if we have any questions about any particular products on the online store, we do like to pride ourselves on education and empowerment. So,
there we go.
An online order is the same thing as an over-the-phone order. You can call us up and we can do it over the phone just as easy. Okay. So if you have a question about a particular product, or your Wi-Fi is banging and you can't get the order through, we do over-the-phone orders, no problem. We can get you taken care of, and even bang out any specific questions that you would have about any of the products, especially the CBD side.
Nice.
If anybody's trying to get benefit that way.
Yeah.
But online for convenience, over the phone, for certain people, that's a preferred method. Nice. We do that all the time.
Yeah.
So you can just browse to see our menu, and if you had any questions about the menu, or reach out to us, go through, place the order, and then we offer delivery service in all of our stores and pickup service, so there's no wait time.
Nice. And that's good to hear. There's certain people that, maybe you're traveling from out of town, they're in the hotel, they don't want to leave, they want some cannabis too.
Yeah. And that's at bryans.greencare.com. And those services are provided there. And like I said, iHeartJane is our delivery service.
Nice. Cool. Well, that's the website, everybody. I wanted to show you guys that. I meant to do it during the segment for Bryans Green Care, but slipped my mind because I'm not looking at the screen. So we got that out the way, and I'm glad because, it's a really nice website. It's very user-friendly, and I wanted to show you guys, how much products they really had and everything. So moving on. So this past week, Las Cruces City Council had a hearing, and they do every week, I think a couple times a month. And a lot of times they'll be voting, or once a week, they usually vote on the ordinance, or, they have hearings. But this week they had the Las Cruces Public Schools, and the superintendent was supposed to be there, but I guess the assistant was there with Dr. Lozano, the guy has the same last name as me. It's funny, no relation. And they did a presentation about cannabis in schools, and they really were just touching base about the issues that they're having with cannabis in schools. And they weren't really blaming us. And they said at the beginning, like, we're not saying that the reason why this is happening is because cannabis is legal. We're just telling you this is an issue and we don't know what to do about it, really, and they just want to let us know what's going on. There was a lot of good information that came from it. And a lot of it I already knew because my parents were teachers for so long, and, they would tell me this information all the time. And it just solidified it, really, because it's still true to this day. And really what it was is they were fair, they were unbiased, and they acknowledged that kid drug use in their youth, especially like, in middle school, there's usually issues at home. Do you have kids?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And like, is there any issues that you've run into since legalization with them, or no?
No. I mean, he's only going to be 3.
Oh, okay. That conversation is long away.
So we'll get there. But no, I've had my feelings. I regret getting introduced to THC early.
Yeah.
I wish I would have waited, just because I wasn't super young,
Yeah.
but my brain was definitely developing.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, I was in high school.
Yeah.
And that is a regret. And that's something that I would definitely convey to anybody.
Yeah.
If you're going to do this, wait.
Yeah.
Wait till you're done developing. And, after that, do what you need to do. If you need it, you need it. But
yeah.
I definitely sympathize with that for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think kids should be, using cannabis. Again, if you need it, you need it. Medicinally, in New Mexico, medicinally, kids can have cannabis. Their parents are their caregivers. And that's what I mean. If, you're a medical patient, that's totally different. It's a total different thing. But as for kids using recreationally, no, not 100% no. If you guys don't know this, usually around 25, roughly, your brain is finally fully matured, and they recommend then to use cannabis. So even when you're 21, a lot of us are drinking before then. Your brain isn't fully developed, and that's something that I would share with you. Is I wish I was a little older before I used any substance, cannabis or alcohol, and I didn't. But this is a lesson to maybe some kids out there that yeah, maybe your friends are going to do it. It might be cool, but there could be another reason why they're using cannabis, and don't just try to be part of the crowd or whatever. And, if there are issues, use your resources. There's counselors and stuff at the schools usually, and stuff like that. So, shout out to anybody that, deals with anything mental, growing up as teenagers. I was a teenager once. You were a teenager once, we know how it is, but kids having cannabis isn't something that I would really recommend at all. But the schools, they also recommend that too. And the fact that they acknowledge that drug use with kids isn't an industry's fault. It's not really the kids' fault. They're just going through some stuff. And sometimes it's an issue at home. Like the kids having some home issues. And they said that during the hearing. And that's what my parents told me too. Is, yeah, normally they're having issues at home. And that's why, this is going on. Or they're, trying to be cool, having a social issue, like in school. Unfortunately, all the products that they did find in the kids' possessions at the school were from our dispensaries. However, they acknowledged that they got these products from family members. And they did mention that, majority of the time they do get this from family or someone that they know. It makes sense. My father echoed the same thing. I had him on the show a couple of weeks ago. He said he encountered it maybe 15 times. And out of that 15 times, every single time that kid got it from their parent, they didn't know they took it. They got it from an aunt, uncle, or, was given to them by someone, or, things like that. One thing that really did shock me, though, was the pens that they find them with, the vape pens, are tobacco mostly, not THC. So that actually was surprising me, because I would thought we were going to see a heavy side of THC vape pens that they were getting caught with, because, I mean, that's a pretty popular way to use these days, other than the pre-roll.
Yeah. That's concerning to hear.
Yeah.
Because it makes it seem like they can't shake the nicotine pen.
Yeah, exactly.
They're already on it, and more are getting on it, and then it's nicotine. I mean, you're going to need it.
Yeah, you become that reliant on it, and they already are at that age. That's not very good to hear. And we're seeing so many more medical issues coming from people vaping so much. And we're talking about the people that are vaping like a competition kind of thing. Those people are running into issues like that, but still, nonetheless. So that is really scary to see. Now, one thing I do want to say, there is a caveat. One thing they didn't mention in the presentation, and they could have just forgot, or maybe they don't know. My dad told me that the issue is actually alcohol in the school. Yeah, and the kids actually get caught more with alcohol than they do with anything else, because it's so easy to obtain.
Wow.
Mostly every kid's parent has a liquor cabinet, or they leave it on top of the fridge, and a middle school kid can definitely get on top of your fridge. So it just goes back to, these kids aren't being watched. And even when I was in high school, there was an issue with alcohol in the school. I had plenty of friends who were coming back from lunch, and they had that Route 44 Sonic drink, and it didn't seem to empty ever.
Mhm.
So, that was an issue. And I even had buddies that, in classes like, hey, can you smell the alcohol on me? I'm like, Jesus, man, from ninth grade.
Yeah,
It,
no, it's always been a problem.
mhm.
Even in my generation, yeah, that was always around. We didn't have vape pens obviously back then,
Yeah. We had cans.
but yeah, so but they were. I promise you, they were dipping in class,
Yep. Hmm.
or they were in between class. You had your groups.
Hmm. I
But
forgot about the
that's
dipping.
no,
Yeah.
they would right
Totally
there.
remember. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Didn't care.
No, not at all.
Teachers would never say anything.
Yeah. It's sunflower seeds.
And so that's always been the problem. I think that what your father might be conveying is the fact that those types of products are more available in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, they
The
are.
percentages of alcohol as opposed to percentages of cannabis in the house, you know,
It trumps it,
yeah.
Significantly. Yeah.
Um, I do believe wholeheartedly, without a doubt, that these kids in school are getting it from, friends, family.
Hmm. People they know.
That's where I was exposed.
Yeah.
Whenever I first started smoking, my older cousin
Hmm.
introduced me to it.
Yeah.
Family. And then it was just, friends.
Yeah.
After that. And I promise you, these kids aren't going into these dispensaries and getting their product.
Yeah.
Personally, we treat it as a bar.
Yeah.
You have to have your ID out. If you're under the age of 21, you have to have a medical card, or you have to have, your guardian there, one or the other.
Hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
There's never been anybody else in my experience. And I would find it hard for anybody in the industry to just have a middle schooler come into the dispensary and sell them a vape.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something that happens.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. And I don't know. I mean, it's been going on since I was a kid.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
So
nothing's changed.
I don't know what can be done about it.
Yeah.
It's just going to turn into something else.
Yeah. And then we'll get blamed. And one thing I want to do as an industry is I want to ensure the public that this isn't happening. I mean, you stating that helps, but as an industry, we have to show everybody. And we're doing that so far because it's harder to get cannabis than it is alcohol. And to be honest, in some places it's harder to get cannabis than it is a gun. And that's kind of weird to think about that. Like it's harder to get cannabis than it is certain other things. And to assume that kids are getting it from a dispensary is a little silly, because when I go in, I'm usually carded at least twice. Like they usually look at my ID at least 2 times. Once when I go in, and then usually when you go to the bud tender and you give them your ID again or your medical cards, and they check everything in and all that good stuff. So there's 2 levels of security on that. And if it's missed twice, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't just see that happening, because everywhere I go, I am ID'd, even if they know me, because they have to put it in the system.
Well, it's also, you'll lose your license.
Yeah, exactly. It's the law. And I don't mind it. Like I get it 100%. You guys fought hard for those licenses, and they're expensive. They ain't cheap. So, by all means, here's my ID. No big deal. So I just want to put people at ease too. Kids aren't getting it from a dispensary. It's once it leaves the dispensary and goes home are pretty much where these kids are getting it. And people just need a parent, and I'm going to keep saying this. It's 420. Do you know where your kids are? And that's something that I'm going to keep repeating, because it just makes sense. Like, are my kids smoking weed? I should probably check on them, but at 420, you want to know where we were? Yeah, we were doing stuff we probably shouldn't be. So that's going to be it for that portion of things. I just wanted to bring that up as a city council thing. I try to get as many dispensaries to show up as possible, just to show support and that fact that we aren't doing this, and to really show the community that we're here to help. And I really hope that we can work with the Las Cruces Public Schools in some capacity to figure this out, maybe educate the kids on cannabis, the fact that they shouldn't use cannabis until they're older, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a great idea. Kids are kids, they're probably not going to listen, but
yeah, we tried. Yeah.
It's some older guy coming in telling you not to smoke weed who's been smoking weed his whole life.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do what I did, but I did what you're doing.
But I'm telling you, your synapses get fried.
Yeah.
I got bad at math.
Yeah.
My junior year, I wish I wouldn't have smoked whenever I was so young.
Yeah.
It just became a little bit harder for me to remember things and stuff like that. I'm not like bad, but it happened.
Yeah, it did make a difference.
Yeah.
It is, it isn't it? And for myself, I only used cannabis when I was younger, like 14, for maybe half a year to a year, and then my dad found out and turned into Sergeant Lozano, and I never did that again until I got out of the Army. And so by that time, I was 24, and so my brain was, for the most part, mature.
Yeah.
And I was okay, but at the same time, I was dealing with PTSD too, so it was kind of like, I need it.
Sure.
And I just got out the Army, and so I didn't want to go with pills, so just it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, guys, if there's something you guys have ideas or anything, go ahead, go to the public schools, meet up with other dispensaries, or if you are a dispensary owner, you have an idea, come to me. Maybe we can do something. I don't know. I just feel that as an industry, we owe it to the community, being so new and being so controversial, and there's so much misunderstanding for us, that we owe it to them to educate everybody. And once we educate everybody, the misconceptions of cannabis will slowly disappear, and it'll take a couple of generations, but it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel it starts with this generation. So moving on, I'm going to be talking about one of the last things of the show. Border Patrol cannabis seizures are down, and that's actually surprising to hear, since there's so much legal cannabis in the nation now. However, there's an other side of that one. So I want to give you guys a little, I guess, perspective. In 2013, they had seized over, where's my number at right here? No. I put it in here somewhere. Oh yeah. They had seized almost 2.5 million pounds of cannabis 10 years ago. Last year, it was 154,000 pounds. Like, that is a huge drop. Like, we're talking like straight down almost. And I'm sure, it went like this, but from the 10 years, that's a huge dip. And the reason for that is because a lot of the cartels that were shipping cannabis over have switched to the other stuff to send more of it and less cannabis. They still send cannabis, don't get me wrong. They still pop it. And this figure right here, there's a little bit of that in there. However, the cannabis, that's the 154,000, majority of that is from American citizens who were in illegal states, say like New Mexico, and they got popped at the border check. We've been dealing with that for a long time. They tend to not harass you too much when it comes to the border checks here in New Mexico. They haven't been too bad. I mean, I've been a patient for 10 years. I got searched once. I didn't even have cannabis with me. It was kind of a funny ordeal. And that was the only time. Normally what happens here is they call the local authorities. They don't want to deal with it. And since it's legal here, they normally just let you go. And so it's just a big waste of time. They will, however, confiscate your cannabis. So that's where that figure comes from. This is just confiscation, really. And that's just really interesting and kind of alarming, because we know cannabis is still coming from Mexico, but now it's just kind of like either they don't care or they're just really going after the harder stuff and not really worried about cannabis.
It could be a couple of things.
Yeah.
The federal decriminalization and removing all of the other cannabinoids other than THC off the controlled substance list.
Yeah.
The priority of the Border Patrol checkpoint now has probably shifted definitely from cannabis, not only to harder drugs, but unfortunately to human trafficking and other very serious situations. The legalization here in New Mexico, Arizona, and California also probably add to that number as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, like you mentioned before, they're federal land, but they tend to go off of the land that they're surrounded in.
Yeah.
In my experience, I've lived in this region pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
Outside of 5 or 6 years. I've gone through every single border checkpoint there's around here, probably 20 or 50 times.
Yeah.
The one in Texas is the one that number will apply. You cannot go through Texas in a Border Patrol checkpoint with any type of cannabis. They cannot let you pass because the land that you're going into is Texas and it's illegal.
As fuck.
So that's the reason why, if you're ever traveling, I would suggest avoiding that type of situation. In New Mexico, they're more curious than anything.
Yeah.
I was actually driving to Ruidoso to deliver or work or something, and the border patrol the border agent asked me what I was doing, where I was going, and I should have just said retail, but I told him, I sell CBD or whatever. And he asked me about the industry and not sat me there. It was a polite conversation, but I was talking to him for almost 4 or 5 minutes.
No way.
And I'm not exaggerating.
Wow.
I looked in the mirror as he was like, oh, okay. And the line of cars was 30, 40 deep.
I was wondering, I was like, how long was that line?
It was long, and it got to the point where I was like, listen, I don't understand. I mean, I hear you, but he was like asking me, how's the industry been? Do you ever carry anything with you?
Oh wow, he was prying, huh?
I didn't really get the sense that he was prying. He was more curious than anything. I don't think I had anything on me, but it was. And that's the other thing. Going into these border patrol checkpoints, you have to know what, also their priority is and what they're allowed to do.
Yeah.
And once you kind of get that understanding of like, hey, I've told you my citizenship, I think we're done here. There's no probable cause for anything else.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to pull me over. But
yeah,
if you have that type of awareness, then, it's fine. I didn't understand. I didn't know that they confiscated if they were to find it. Like if
sometimes they do. Yeah.
In Doniana or.
Yeah. Like they do the one coming from El Paso going into Alamogordo. They'll confiscate it there. That's the one where I got searched one time. They had the dog out. They're being jerks. It was Easter. And I knew I didn't have any cannabis. So I was just sitting there. I had a Kiss Me I'm Irate t-shirt on. And, I was sitting there just talking shit to them the whole time because they're being jerks. They kept asking me the same question over and over. I told them it's irrelevant to the situation. Stop asking me that.
Sure.
Yeah. And, they searched my vehicle, didn't find anything. Tried to say they found some shake in the carpet. I was like, whatever.
Man, they give that one a lot.
Yeah. I'm like, whatever. What it was, I had Keef on my e-brake. I had sprinkled some shit that just fallen through time.
I think I got some of that on there now.
Yeah. I was like, these dumbasses didn't even catch it. So it's something that we have to deal with in the area. And if you guys don't know, Las Cruces, we are locked. No matter what direction you go, you hit a border check. North, south, east, west, you're going to hit a border check. There's maybe 1 or 2 ways to kind of get around it, but they will set up little remote ones. Yeah, little kiosks, and you're going to run into it. So you're going to run into it no matter what. So we're kind of stuck. And I've never really liked these. I've always felt harassed. Like it's kind of like a nuisance more than anything. I would make this joke. I'm like, they're called the Border Patrol, not the Inland Harass Americans Patrol. Why aren't they at the actual border? But that's a story for another day. I just wanted to touch on, these numbers because that was actually when I saw those numbers, because I got curious. I'm like, 154. I kind of feel like that's way low. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, let's go back 10 years, like just 10 years. We were medical, it was kind of kicking up and everything. I just joined the program. Let's look, 2.5 million. Holy shit. Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's a big dip. So that goes to show that, the legalization did help with, this issue. But other issues occurred. It wasn't cannabis issue. It's just things happen. Yeah. Fentanyl came on the scene, and then all of a sudden the focus went from methamphetamine, cocaine to fentanyl. I guess it's probably cheaper to make or something like that. I'm not an expert on fentanyl, so correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, that's all I had for that one. I mean, it was kind of short, but also a good conversation to have because, the personal experiences we have with the Border Patrol in the area here. And like you, I grew up in Alamogordo, so my whole life, I'm an American citizen. And I used to work at the missile range when I first got out of the military. And so every day I'll, go there and, sometimes they had the dog out, sometimes they wouldn't, and it was just, even if you're not doing anything wrong, you feel like you did something wrong. It's not nice. It's not
good. Little trick, and I'm sure a lot of people do this. I just roll down all my windows.
Yeah.
I roll down all my windows so they can see inside. They're really interested as if you're there alone or you're there with the amount of people that you see.
Yeah, they're more
hiding anybody. That's their main concern. And if you make it obvious that you're an American citizen, the conversation should end real quick.
Yeah, normally when I go through, it's like, have a good day.
Yeah. So just if you're going through those, Yeah, definitely know you're about to hit one, and don't, smoke and drive.
Yeah, don't do that, guys, because they may not mess with you, but once the local PD shows up,
Yeah,
they can
that's
dock
illegal.
you for a
Can't do
DUI,
that.
DWI.
Don't
Yeah,
do
don't do it. If you're going to be driving in the Southwest, American Southwest, you're not from New Mexico or the area, there is a website to tell you where all the checkpoints are, so that way you can plan your trip accordingly. It's probably better if you're going to be going, say, from Arizona to here, to not bring any cannabis with you if you're going to go through a border check, just so you don't get harassed. It just makes your life easier. You can get more when you get here. But that's all I have for that one. The very last thing I want to talk, and pretty much the end of the show, but I wanted to add this as a bonus. 420 is coming up, and I wanted to give everybody a heads up of all the events that's going on in the Cruces area. Not the whole state. There's too many for me to really name in the whole state on 420 to do that. Just in the conversation we were having before the show, I mean, I found out Hobbs is having one. I think Roswell is having one. Of course, Albuquerque and Santa Fe are having their own. And down here in Cruces, we're starting to get a better community, together, and we're having more. So the first one, and this is going to be one that I'm definitely going to attend. It's called the Laughing Grass Festival. They had one last year, but this year is different. They have more bands. They incorporate a lot of music. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge reggae fan, not because I use cannabis. I've always loved reggae, but once I moved to Hawaii and I lived there for about 4 years, I became a huge reggae fan. It's on the radio there. And so it just made it worse. And one of my favorite bands, Tomorrow's Bad Seeds, are going to be there. And
Nice.
I'm pretty excited about that, actually. And it's really cool to see Las Cruces getting some, notoriety like that. Like, okay, Tomorrow's Bad Seeds. All right, we can do that. And then they have a couple more. Denim and Landon Nick Namara. I can have the hardest time saying his name, Nick Namara. They're both Island boys. I know Landon is for sure. He actually, I think, messaged me back in the day, sent me a song. He was sending random people, his music back in the day, and happened to be one of the lucky ones. And really good music, reggae guys. They like to do acoustic, island dudes, and just a good sound. The next one is called the Ire. I'm not too sure about them. I'm not too sure what music you like or whatever, or if you like reggae.
Yeah, I like reggae. I like ska. I like
Okay,
all
here you
that
go. Yeah,
stuff.
the 90s ska.
Yeah, I got a little bit in there. No, I'm not talking about my my ska band fetish.
That'll be for another day. But yeah, I'm a big reggae fan. It's good to hear that you like it too. I love ska too. Especially in the 90s. It felt like there was a lot of ska in the 90s, to be honest.
I think that's where it came from. It's just growing up. And I played the sax too. So,
if you guys didn't know this random bit of information that probably no one needs, ska came before reggae. Reggae is actually a branch of ska.
Really?
Yeah, it came from Jamaica, and ska started there and had the up more tempo beat, and then reggae came along and slowed it down. And I'd like to tell people that actually reggae came from ska. So yeah, a little bit of information y'all didn't need for the day. That's gonna be that event. I'll get you guys more information if there's, you guys have questions on tickets. However, the location is going to be 3900 West Picacho Avenue here in Las Cruces, pretty much headed towards west out of town, going towards Devon. The second one is going to be the first annual Southwest Cannabis Convention. I know we mentioned that briefly at the beginning of the show. That's going to be the date after 420, so 421. I think that's good planning, to be honest, in my opinion, if you're going to have a convention like that. It's going to be at the Las Cruces Event Center. 680 East University Avenue, Las Cruces. So there's going to be vendors there. They're going to have different presentations, different presenters there. Are you guys going to be doing anything?
Yeah, we'll be there at the first annual Cannabis Convention Center or convention.
Okay.
We're trying to get organized to get into Laughing Grass.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to be doing CBD stuff there? You're going to be kind of.
Well, we'll see what they're allowing.
Okay.
I don't know. I have to get more details.
Yeah. I mean, that's good.
I don't know exactly if they're allowed to sell THC there.
I don't believe so, but I mean, it could be one of those things where it just.
Well,
I don't know.
I get that information.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, yeah, whenever we do set up these markets, we'll take out some of our CBD products, our most popular items, the sublingual oils and the salves, and then we'll have some of those hemp-based samples. The edibles that we can pass out for signing up, over the age of 21, that type of deal.
And I'm sure if you can't sell THC there, you can just send them a coupon or something like that to the shop.
Yeah, no, that'll be the intention. Is definitely giving some incentive to get show up at the shop. We have some things going. You can leave a Google review. You get a free half gram pre-roll when you come in. You'll save some money, $10 off your first purchase. if you sign up with our rewards program. So those types of options will be available at these markets that we'll go ahead and
Nice.
be at,
Okay.
among other things as well.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever we're allowed to do, we'll do.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And that's something that I've been pushing for the state to change and the cities to change, is to allow us to sell THC at events like this, because I can go to the fairgrounds and go buy wine and get just plastered.
Yeah.
You know, and no one cares, but when it comes to cannabis, people care. Like, even if you go to the fairgrounds where it's like out of the city, so it's like, come on, no one's there. It's like, no one's there. So moving on, the next one is going to be the Las Cruces 420 Hemp and Cannabis Festival. This one's actually going to be downtown. Last year, I think it was at the Sassy Grass, but this year it's actually going to be downtown, which is actually surprising. And the city is behind the convention and a downtown thing, so that's really good that they're supporting the cannabis industry like that. That's going to be downtown Las Cruces Plaza. I mean, it's really easy to find. You just Google downtown Las Cruces and you'll find it. The performances are going to be Sister Black Lagoon and Dusty Low. I'm not too sure genres or what bands those are, but there is going to be music. There's going to be vendors and other stuff like that. They are still accepting vendors, because when I was on the website, it looked like it was still open. So if you guys are interested, I can get you the information or get you guys the information as well. Next up is going to be Sassy Grass 420, and they're working in conjunction with Valley Pizza. If you guys are from the Cruces area, lived here in a while, you probably know who Valley Pizza is. Very good pizza in the area. I eat it quite a bit, and they've been around for quite a while. Super local, real cool people. And they just so happen to be right next door to Sassy Grass. So they're working in conjunction. They're going to have an event on 420. And the last few events, except the convention one, they're all going to be on 420. So if you're going to be in Cruces, you live in Cruces, there is a wide variety of events going on. And that's the last one that I know of. If there's any more, please let me know. Reach out to me. I'll, plug it on the next episode, because that's going to be the second one to last before 420. Is there anything you have on these maybe, or?
No, I don't know if we'll go to those ones. I think just the Laughing Grass and the first annual Southwest. We might try, depending on staffing.
Yeah.
Because it's all on 420.
Yeah. I mean, 420 is a crazy day.
So we can only do so much. You kind of got to pick and choose the bit, like, not
you can only
to say,
smoke so much.
Yeah. So I think we're focusing on the Laughing Grass and the Southwest Cannabis Convention.
Cool. Yeah, me too. I'm gonna try to make as many as possible.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna go to the first two. I mean, the convention makes sense. It's the day after, so it's a little easier.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So you're not really stretched out too thin, and give everybody an opportunity to check it out without like, hey, I gotta check out everything else in town.
Yeah, and it's not like alcohol. Everybody's going to be too hungover to come in the next day. So
you'll be all right.
Right. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have for this week, for this show. Thank you again, Don, for joining me. It was a great conversation.
Oh, you appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. And, again, what's your guys' address?
1024 South Main, here in Las Cruces, Bryans Green Care. Again, it's at bryansgreencare.com. And you can go ahead and follow us on Instagram.
I think it's Bryans Green. You guys have two.
Well, we have our new Instagram that just popped up. It's Bryans Green Care Company.
Okay. Bryans Green Care Company on
Instagram. That's the company Instagram. And then we have an Instagram for our Las Cruces location, Bryans Green Care Company __ Las Cruces.
Okay, cool. Well, you guys have all the information. If you want to go check them out, I highly recommend it, especially those edibles. Yep. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you again next week.